up, y'all? It's me, Erica, and we are down here. Peace, y'all. Take care of each other. Protect your energy. Okay, I thought I was finished, y'all, but we have Ladies Who List, episode 2. All right, so let's talk about it. I have my notes in the phone here. Go ahead and like, subscribe, and comment. Let the diva know you stopped by. Episode was good. Let me tell you how much I love this show. I love this show. Y'all keep asking me to watch Selling Tampa. I had pulled my computer up right now because I forgot we had to do this video right here. So I'm gonna watch a couple of episodes of Selling Tampa, and then I'll see how I feel about it. Right? Okay. So we are with Kira, the luxury agent, and B. Simone. B. Simone is looking for a corner unit. I think it's over $500,000. 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom. The closets were too small, so she said no. It was a cute apartment, a cute condo, whatever they want to call it. But I feel like it was too small. Like that closet was looking real small. I was like, ooh. She was like, where am I going? She was like, where am I going to put all my stuff? It was funny when she was like, she was going to buy a house with her boyfriend. And then they broke up. She said after they went looking for houses, I guess they broke up or whatever. And she was like, so I don't really need a house now. She was like, because who's going to take out the trash? I thought he was going to do that. Who's going to mow the lawn? I thought he was going to do that. That's so funny. That's the thing I keep thinking about. I keep thinking about the maintenance when it comes to home ownership. When I bought my home in Atlanta, I of course had a warranty, so I was able to get things fixed. But I remember being with my son's father, and because I didn't put him on the house, right? I bought that house and it was my name on the house. I moved to Atlanta to purchase a home. That was the purpose. And with less than a year of me being there, I purchased my first home, and I did it all by myself. And he was not, I was in a relationship with him, but he was not on the house, and I wasn't going to put him on the house. I always felt like even though I made bad decisions with that relationship, there was two things I knew. I wasn't going to put him on my house, and I wasn't going to legally marry him because like I said, I wasn't that crazy. I was crazy making dumb decisions in that relationship, but I wasn't that crazy to actually buy a house with him and actually legally bind myself to him. I knew not to do that. And so when she was saying that, even when Kira said that her and her boyfriend had been in that house for a year, not a year, what'd she say, 6 months, a month, and the house is goddamn burned down, I was like, see, at first I thought he did it, but then she said online, she was on Twitter, and she said that sand, from the sander, the dust caught fire, and that's how her house caught on fire. She said it on Twitter, girl. And so I was like, girl, what a sander? So I went online, honey, and it's true. It says, although uncommon, wood dust can and does catch on fire in the dust collection bag when sanding wood floors. The heat created from the friction of the machine and sandpaper on the floor can increase to the point of 400 degrees Fahrenheit to be precise, when the sawdust begins to smolder inside of the bag and ignite. Because at first I was like, girl, a sand bag, but then I looked it up and she's right. That's what happened. She said that's what happened. The sand caught on fire or whatever, and that's what happened to her house. Because at first I was like, that nigga started that fire. Baby, I wasn't the only one online thinking he started the fire. I was like, because you know how I am, cynical ass. I was like, that nigga started that fire. She was like, no, he did not start the fire. Somebody else said it. Somebody was like, he probably started that shit. Girl, I was right along with you. See what we think about y'all? We don't think highly of y'all at all. We think y'all niggas is out here starting fires. She said after the house fire, the relationship went up in flames too. So that's why I was like, oh, that nigga burned that house down. But it wasn't him. So we're going to leave it to him. But B. Simone said she didn't like the house. So that was it. So Kiana we get into a little bit more of her story. She talks about living in the projects again. She grew up poor. Sometimes they lived without having electricity for months, she said. She would be at school and the kids would be complaining about what they got in their lunch boxes, and she would be jealous, like, girl, I didn't even get a lunch, okay? She says, but then she also has a lot of people who believe in her, and it sounds like she's taking care of a lot of people, and she's saying she needs to release herself so I can take care of Kiana. I thought it was very interesting that her and Tiffany had the same perspective about taking care of other people and not taking care of themselves. You know what I mean? So Kira says that she's releasing herself from that so she can take care of that. She's married 8 years. Hold on. Let's see. She's married 8 years to Anthony. They've known each other 13 years. She was talking to Anthony. They were having dinner at her house. Let me tell you something about Kiana's house, bitch. Bitch. Period. I don't have to say nothing. Go look at Kiana's house, honey. That house is lit. When I saw that house, this has a W. Is her last name Williams? So Watson? What's her last name? It was a W in the front of the house. She says that Robin wanted to charge her to hold on to her projects. You all said that that is a standard practice. $500. She wanted to charge her $500 for each. She said that would have been $13,000, and she feels a way about that. So listen, you guys, a lot of you guys in the comments explained that when you're moving around in real estate or whatever, in terms of your licenses, in order for you to start your things, a broker has to hold your license or whatever, okay? A lot of y'all said that people charge to do that. So I'm trying to figure out, Kiana, what did you expect her to do for you? That's what I would like, because obviously the expectation wasn't met, so now you're upset, right? But it sounds like the expectation was for her to do it for you for free, simply because you knew her through your husband's friend who she dated, right? Maybe your relationship goes a little deeper than that, because later at the little dinner, she says they'll meet privately. But I'm trying to figure out, Kiana, what was your expectation of Robin when you asked her to do that? Was it to do it for free? And as a businesswoman, would you have done it for free for someone else? Or would you have charged the friendship price? Maybe she should have charged you $250. But I'm not sure that expecting someone to do something for free is really fair. I don't think it's fair. Right? Am I wrong? Y'all let me know how you feel about it. I think her expecting her to do it for free is unfair. I do. Maybe 500 is too much, but I feel like, why would you expect me to do this for free? Right? So it's not a good idea. Even if it's amazing, it's still a no. I wrote cutthroat. She just said her husband was like, no, it's not a good idea. It's not a good idea to go into business with her. Her husband was like, I thought that she would look out for you because, you know, I know her, and she's my friend or whatever. And so the husband was like, I wouldn't do it. So he said no, not to do it. She's like, no, I'm not doing it. So Kira, she tells us she grew up in a small town. Her and her ex had a home. The house burned down. They hadn't been there a month. She said all her pictures, clothes, and everything, all she had was the bag she went on vacation with. And then after that, her and her boyfriend broke up. You saw the house. Oh my God. I started crying. When she was crying, I was like, girl, I can't even imagine losing all of that. That house was huge. And she said that the sander caused the fire. So that was it. The sand caught on fire. So Kira grew up in, we already talked about that. So Tiffany's work-life balance, that's what she keeps talking about. That's her storyline, trying to figure out how to balance work and life. Okay, give me 1 second. All right, so Tiffany, like I said, her storyline is work-life balance. She's saying at one point she had debilitating anxiety and panic attacks. She said she stopped taking care of herself. She was taking care of everybody else. but she had a wonderful support system around her. Her husband quit his job to support her as well. She was teaching her son how to drive. Honey, that was making me nervous. Why did I knew it when he was getting out that car. I said he did not put that car in park. I knew it. That's why they were staying in the car. That's why the camera was still in the car. That nigga did not put that car in park. I knew it. She was like, watch out, boy. That was the realest moment. You can't fake. Let me tell you something. When you teaching somebody how to drive and there's a camera on you, you can't fake. You can't act all prim and proper because your ass be nervous. It looked like he just went around the block and that was it. She said she learned how to drive in an old beat up, what she say, a white van, old beat up van, but he was driving an Escalade, honey. She was like, I'm nervous. So she didn't really want to go at first, but she, took her son to teach him how to drive. Her husband was like, I got other stuff to do. I got to take the other kids to where they need to go. And so it was cute to see that little scene with her son because she was nervous too. I was nervous for her. I knew his ass didn't put that car in park. She said, we almost died at the end. Y'all did. He almost killed y'all. Anyways, Tiffany goes out to dinner with her husband and Tiana and her husband Arnold. I like Tiana. At first, in the first episode, I didn't really get like a good, feel for her. But in this episode, I was like, oh, I like Tiana. I like her a lot. Tiana and Arnold. So they go to dinner. They talk about how when they said that they were going to go meet with Robin, how it was like a lot of petty banter. Remember when I said in my review, they was just gossiping, right? It wasn't really much. It was just gossiping. And so she was like, yeah, the air was thick. So they start telling the husbands about what happened and talk about Tiffany and Crystal's competition. So Tiffany sees Crystal as competition. Crystal said last episode, she doesn't see it as competition. She's not competing against anyone. Focus on being a mom. Oh, that's what Tiffany said. Tiffany said when she got pregnant that Crystal, girl, I was like, girl, she said Crystal called her up and was like, girl, if you want to, bitch, she said, if you want to focus on being a mom, I can take basically all your business and run it for you while you focus on being a mom. Bitch, what? She said, I didn't work this hard to be working for somebody else. I said, I know that's right. That's shady. I'm sorry. And it comes off as being, and that's what Tiffany said. It was coming off as she was being caring, but then when you look deep into it, she just really wanted all her business. So are you in competition with her, Crystal? You could just focus on being a mom. She was like, we're gonna go to the meeting, we're gonna hear what they have to say, but it doesn't mean that I'm gonna be all girl power. And I think that's one thing that women must understand. You have this idea because men do it so well. They stay on code so well. They stay on code very, very well. And women don't seem to stay on code as well as men do. But then there's this expectation that because we both have vaginas, I need to treat you a certain way and we need to have a level of respect for each other and stay on code. But that's unrealistic, honestly, especially in a competitive industry like real estate. Girl, what? Girl power? Girl power my ass. You're not about to take my business. But so they said that they're going to meet, and she said doesn't mean I'll be all girl power. So Robin says she's been a broker for 20 years. She loves helping people. She came to Atlanta in 2006. That's when I came to Atlanta in 2006. She has 2 kids. I left with 2 kids. I didn't come with 2 kids. I left with 2 kids though. That's what I love, and it loves me back. Atlanta is a vibe. She said you can come with a dream and be successful. While that is true for some people, the fact is that 1 in 4 people in Atlanta live in poverty. It's a lot. That's a lot. 1 in 4 people are living in poverty in Atlanta. So I love the idea that it's a Black Mecca, but it's not like that really. It looks good and it sounds good and it looks promising and beautiful, but it's not really like that. So She says that she sells in this building called the Haley Building, where she sells, it's like 150 units in that building, and she has sold over 50 units in that building. It's in downtown Atlanta. And I love how Tiana kind of gave Robin props, like saying she sells mostly in downtown Atlanta. Not many people really have a corner on that market. And then Kira, I think it was Kira, tried to downplay it. Was like, yeah, but it's a building that doesn't have parking. You got to park across the street and this and that. But my thing is the way that Robin was explaining to the guys, like, you can stay here for a while, get some equity, sell it, and go someplace else. This is where a lot of people start out to start building their wealth. And the guy was like, okay, let's do it. Let's draw up the papers or whatever. So looks like Robin sold another unit in the Haley Building. 50 sold, and it's only 106 units, and she sold 50 units in that building. Tiana and Tiffany and Kira go to the 2021 Real Estate Awards, and Tiana wins for Best Social Media Presence. And she's like, it hasn't been the first time that the ladies disrupt the status quo. And I love how she said we were winners before we walked into the room. I love that. That's what on Orange County, when they were standing in the winner's circle, and Heather was like, we were winners when we stepped in here. I love it. I love it. I love it. So they're talking about Robin's upcoming dinner. Not sure what she's going to say. She sells in the Healy. It's a tough building to sell in. And then Kira shares with us that Robin stopped following, Robin and Crystal at the same time, around the same time, stopped following her on Instagram, and she doesn't know why. She wants to know why. All right, so now we get to the dinner, honey. It's Crystal, Kiana, Kira, Tiana, Tiffany, and Robin. They are working on collaborating. She wants to create a brokerage firm so they can basically take over the Atlanta market. And so before Robin got there, the women were asking Crystal, like, what is it? And she was like, well, I can't speak for her, right? So she gets in the room. Robin comes in, and she's like, everybody's stunning and beautiful and stylish. I didn't like the way Crystal was like, well, what do you want from them, right? Like, go ahead and sell your stuff, right? So she says, I want one big brokerage firm. Tiana loves the idea. Kiana says, well, there's a level of respect and trust that needs to happen. And she basically says she didn't appreciate her trying to charge her for holding the licenses while she made her little transfers and stuff like that. Crystal interrupts. Robin says, can we get past that now? Robin, no. No. The same way that you expected Crystal on the last episode to receive you and listen to you is the same thing that you need to show to Kiana. The same thing. When somebody apologizes, we talked about apologies last episode. When somebody apologizes and says, okay, I already apologized, can we move past it now? That's insensitive, and that's not even allowing the person to even process your apology. It's like, I apologize, okay, now let's move on. No, I'm gonna need some time to process that. You should not expect me to accept your apology and then us get right back to where we left off. That's unrealistic. So I felt like that was dismissive. I do feel like Robin should have asked her, what did you expect me to do? Did you expect me to do this for free for you? Would you have done it for free for somebody else? Robin says that she was in the midst of a mental health crisis, and that she wasn't like, getting out of bed. She wouldn't even bathe herself. And that's when you saw Tiffany kind of look over and kind of like, okay, now I understand where she's coming from. So she basically said, I wasn't in the right headspace during that time, and it was a misunderstanding. And then that they will talk about it later. Kiana kept talking about it. Then Kira chimes in. Crystal keeps interrupting, trying to add to the conversation, which I felt aggravated the situation or agitated the situation more than necessary. I felt like if Crystal would have stayed out of it, like Robin asked her, I felt like the conversations would have been a little bit more smoother. Although they were getting over hurdles and issues that they have, I felt like if Crystal wasn't chiming in, because it was like her chiming in is exactly the way Robin described it. Her putting a little gasoline on the fire to keep it burning, right? I did feel like Crystal was getting a little joy out of the way that the women were going back and forth, because I feel like for her, it validates what she was telling Robin. I'm just telling you who you are. So when I see you not getting along with women, that just validates it. And I can tell you again, do you see how you were getting along with those women, even though you were adding to it a little bit? But do you see how you were getting along? See, I told you you don't get along with women. That kind of, like I said online, that relationship needs to be reevaluated, right? I feel like it needs to be reevaluated, right? Robin offers to take Kiana to dinner. I can take you to dinner. I don't need your dinner. No, you don't need her dinner, but she's extending it to you as an olive branch. Let's go to dinner. Let's talk about our issues. We shouldn't talk about this. She says, I respect you enough to have the conversation privately later. But she's still going to say no. She's still going to say no to the idea. She said, I had a lot of serious mental health issues. Kiana says, let's not deflect. I'm not deflecting. You asked me why I did something. I'm telling you why I did it. You don't like the response. You feel like me telling you I was going through a mental health crisis during this time is an excuse to deflect off of what? The responsibility of what I did. I'm taking responsibility, but I'm telling you why I did it. Right? I don't give a damn what mental health crisis you're going to. It doesn't allow you the space to be rude or disrespectful to people, right? It doesn't give you the space to treat people badly and poorly because you're going through a mental health crisis. But how badly and poorly did she treat Kiana? Because she was trying to charge her to hold her stuff for her while she transferred her things? And you're this amped because what was your expectation of me? To do what? And you're this mad? Okay. So then maybe it was good that she didn't do it, because it doesn't seem like you're taking into account. And that's when Tiana's husband said, you're just going to be sitting around a bunch of self-absorbed women who just only care about themselves. The way that Kiana was yelling at Robin, it felt like, I don't care what you were going through. You wanted to charge me for transferring my licenses and stuff. You wanted to charge me, and I don't like that. And I felt like you were trying to take advantage of me. I don't care what you were going through. I care about what you did to me. I don't care that you were going through something and that is the reason why you were acting this way. True or not? I don't know how true that is, right? Because later when Kira confronted Robin about the unfollow, Robin blamed it on the algorithm. Girl, all you had to do was say, girl, we don't engage enough. I unfollowed you. That's all you have to say. Kira was upset, and she said she wasn't upset, but the way that she was speaking, anyone not knowing that she was not upset would not think that she wasn't upset by her actions. Her actions showed that she was upset. You stop following me. She was very intense about it. And then she said, how you going to invite me? What she say? You invite me to dinner. How you a fan? And then when you invite me to dinner, you going to act like an op. Okay, that doesn't make sense because I invited you here. So I'm invited you here to be your opposition? Kira, no. So Kira was upset. Now, a lot of people say, I don't know why you unfollow. People are upset when people unfollow them. It depends on who the person is, right? On why you unfollowed, right? Some people you'll notice that they don't follow you anymore, and you're like, whatever. But then there's some people you notice they don't follow you anymore, and they don't say anything about unfollowing you, and you're like, I wonder why they unfollowed me. What did I say? Well, what did I do? Right? So if you don't, you may take it personally, right? And you take it personally, you internalize it, and now you're mad at this girl. And all she had to do was say, We just weren't engaging enough, so I unfollowed you. She should not have blamed it on the algorithm, because that was an excuse. Now, that was an excuse. The mental health shit and why her and Kiana was going through what they were going through, I felt like Kiana was being selfish. Like, basically, you're telling me that I don't care that you were going through mental health. You treated me a certain way. Okay, I treated you a certain way because this is what I was going through. I don't care what you were going through. I just care about how you treated me. Right? Now, I don't know if a mental health issue would encourage you or make you charge someone to hold their license and you like are not in your right state of mind. I'm not sure how. I don't know. Like, I would be like, girl, what? Like, I understand you were going through your mental health issues, but what does that have to do with you charging me $500 for 26 cases that I have? You was trying to make $13,000 off of me real quick. What does that have to do with you charging me mental health? What does that have anything to do? Tell me. Like, I can take it into account if you can kind of, like, I don't understand how do I rationalize that? So you were going through mental health issues, so you wanted to charge me $500 for each thing. I had 26 things that they said 13,000. And you were charging me $500 because you was going through mental health issues. And it don't be the right questions. Like, in the midst of all that stuff, I be wanting to ask questions. Like, let's ask questions. So Crystal keeps interrupting. I was like, Crystal, shut up. I kept telling Crystal, shut up. Shut up, Crystal. Shut up. So she said, let's not deflect. And then that's when Tiffany kind of, like, I guess was like, oh, she's having mental health issues. I had mental health issues. I know how it is. And so she tells Kiana, you guys were there for me when I was going through my stuff. She was like, I know that. But yeah, you got to understand, you're just not in the best place. And that's when Robin says, you don't get up, you don't bathe, you don't change your clothes, you don't do none of that stuff. Tiffany says, no one is supporting Robin. Kira gets upset about the unfollow. She says, let's move on. Don't be a fan and then get to dinner and be a op. And then she tell her, I will shit on you. And then she was making little ageist comments like, you're older and this and that. She was like, and then, honey, Robin got up and said, yes, and look at it, girl. Look at all of this, honey. You might want to say that we're a little bit more senior. We got a little bit more experience than you. And then she was like, girl, that's when they started getting into that. That's the part that I love. When she was like, girl, I've sold 160, what'd she say, 165 properties since 2012. That's what she said. The girl was like, so I was shit on you. That's what Kira said. I was like, okay, bitch. This is what I love. The competitiveness, the pettiness. Okay, it's fine, or whatever. But the competitiveness, like, I've sold this many homes and you sold how many, and how long have you been selling homes, girl? That's what she was like. It don't even matter. Tiana was like, girl, this is a mess. Like, I don't even know what's going on. This is not what it was supposed to be like, right? So she says, I'm glad you brought it up. It's not that serious. It's IG. Like, she was being very dismissive. Robin at one point was like, I've said I'm sorry, let's move on, right? I've already said I'm sorry, let's move on. And then they keep talking about it. And then she said, that's what's wrong with women. I'm going to tell you something. I agree with Robin. I said, because they keep wanting to talk about it like if there's no resolve. And what I'm telling you, I'm giving you reasons for my behavior. You're not accepting it and you want to continue to talk about it. We are done talking about it. Why do you guys need to just keep digging and digging and digging? You and I, Kiana, will have a conversation later and I can explain to you why I did what I did. Kira, I unfollowed you, girl. Hang it up. Flat screen. Why do we keep talking about this? Can we move forward? Women tend to do that. People tend to do that when they feel like they're not being heard. When you get into a discussion with somebody and they keep saying the same thing over and over again, that is your cue to understand that the reason why this person keeps repeating themselves to me is because they feel as if I am not listening. And because Robin was so like cutting them off in the middle of explaining their issues, it came off as dismissive. And that is the reason why they kept going. Because you're not even acknowledging, you're blaming it on the algorithm, you're blaming it on your mental health. Girl, we're not accepting that, so we're going to keep going. And that's what people do. I'm not accepting your excuse. I'm not accepting your apology. I'm not buying it. I'm going to keep talking about it. I'm going to keep saying it again. And that's frustrating for a lot of people, but people who do not feel heard repeat themselves in discussions. Just listen to people and acknowledge their feelings. That's another thing. Somebody is telling you how you made them feel. You need to say, I'm sorry that I made you feel that way. This is what I was going through at the time. I should not have done that. I'm sorry. How can we move forward? The same kind of apology or the same kind of attention that you wanted for Crystal, you have to embody that if you want other people to extend that to you. Embody that. Take accountability. Blaming the algorithm, out of here. I was like, girl, no, Robin. I was with you until you blamed the algorithm. That's an excuse. That is a clear excuse. You could have just stood in your shit and been honest and said, girl, we were not engaging online. I didn't want to follow you no more. Crystal was trying to explain why she didn't follow. I don't want to shit on anybody. Crystal looked so pretty sitting there, but girl, you was getting on my fucking nerves. She looked so pretty sitting there. Her hair was pretty. Everything with her little shorts and stuff. I was like, girl, stop interrupting. Shut your ass up, because what you're doing is aggravating the situation more than it should. I feel like Robin would have had a more successful meeting had Crystal not been there, or had she met with each person individually. Okay, because if she met with Kiana individually, they would have been able at that point to have that conversation where Kiana was going to tell her no to her face, because she was taking joy and reveling in the fact that she was going to tell that bitch no, I don't like the way you did me. I'm not going to win in business with you. I'm not. Crystal gets up from her seat, walks around to where Robin is, and continuously tells Robin, and I counted 8 times, you're triggered. You're triggered, Robin. You're triggered. You're triggered, Robin. You're triggered. You're triggered, Robin. I was like, girl, bitch, you're triggering me. And like I said, if you are my friend and you know that I have mental health issues and you know things that trigger me, to me, I feel like you're triggered. There's a button. You're triggered. You're triggered. You're triggered. You're triggered. You're triggered. I felt like she was doing that on purpose. And when she slapped her hand, although I was like, Robin, no. But it's like, girl, shut the fuck up. That's when you trigger somebody. And then that's when that person can say, see, I told you she didn't get along with women. You see how that works? I'm going to trigger you into the behavior and then tell you, see, I told you. I told you can't get along with women. After you done triggered the person. They do it all the time. It's gaslighting, okay? Let me go back down to where I was. Yeah, I didn't like that. You're triggered, you're triggered, you're triggered. She was like, how old are you? That's what Robin said too. What does age have to do with it? Girl, she just called us old. And now you worried about me saying that how old she is? You're being mean to her. This was Crystal telling Robin. You're being mean to her. Girl, she just told me that she could shit on me. What are you talking about? Whose team are you on? Whose team are you on, girl? Because if you can't figure out whose team that you're on, shut your goddamn mouth. Shut up. Because you didn't seem like you were on Robin's team, girl. It seemed like what you were doing was trying to create an environment to validate what you said to her the other day. That's what it seemed like to me. Y'all let me know what you think. Kiana said, okay, we'll talk later. I don't have the mental space to deal with all of this stuff. Rob, stop. You're triggered. She hit her hand. And then Crystal had the nerve to say, I've never seen her not be calmed by my words. I don't know what to do. Do you think that saying you're triggered 8 times is going to calm a person down? That is like telling a person, and studies have shown, when you tell a person to calm down in the midst of their anger, their blood pressure increases. They do not calm down. And it's the same thing. You're triggered, you're triggered, you're triggered, you're triggered. Are you trying to trigger me? Because, bitch, I'm about to go the fuck off. And all that's going to do is solidify the idea of what you don't get along with women. You don't see, I told you don't get along with men. Even though I triggered you, even though I pressed your buttons and I was pressing them and pressing them and pressing them. And then when you react, see, I told y'all she didn't get along with women. Didn't I tell y'all she didn't get along with women? You're not going to be able to do this. You don't get along with women. I was like, girl, it's a mess. I counted 8 times. So she said she doesn't know what to do because there's never been a time where her friend hasn't been able to be calmed by her words. But your words were not calming. Girl, your words were not calming. So we had one house sale, because I know that's what people are complaining about, these shows with Black cast not selling actual house and being focused more on their personalities rather their professional life. We saw one home, the Haley building. We didn't see any signing or anything like that. The guy said, we're going to put in an offer, and that was it. B. Simone didn't like the house that Kira showed her. So we had one home last, that the people, the YouTubers, they signed off on their home. That was with Robin. The second episode, Robin is going to make an offer on the unit in the Healy building for this man. So we've seen her do. Robin is the only person we've seen so far. Okay. All right. Anyways, y'all take care of each other. You let me know what you think about it. How did you feel? I know everybody, I don't know anybody who would say they weren't lit up by saying you're triggered over and over and over again. I do feel like, again, Robin was being dismissive. That's why the women kept repeating themselves and kept talking about it. She wanted to get past it. But I don't think that, like I said, I think what she wanted Crystal to extend to her at the park, she should have extended that at the same time. But she's already on the defense. So we're going to see next episode that Tiffany and Robin get together. And then we see Tiffany and Tiana talking about Crystal saying you're triggered over and over and over again, and how that was triggering. It was really triggering, and it felt like it was intentional. And it felt like Crystal was delighting in, see, I was right. I told you you can't get along with women. I'm just reminding you of who you are. Crystal, everybody still has A's. Crystal, everybody started with an A+. Everybody got A's. Everybody still got A+. Crystal, your grade is going lower and lower. And I want to give, because you a accomplished diva, but your personality so far, I'm looking like, girl, let's work on some things. So we see her next week. And I'm interested in seeing the conversation between her and her therapist and how she frames what's happening between her and Robin. Because it sounds like what the therapist was saying kind of sounded like you need to set some boundaries with this relationship, right? I want to see how she's framing it. I really am interested in seeing how she sees her friendship with Robin and how Robin sees, because like I said on the last review, I don't know if they're still friends, but I do believe that it is time to reevaluate the relationship. I do. Anyways, y'all, I enjoyed the episode. I love it. I'm glad I'm learning these new women and their personalities and stuff like that. I'm here for it. Take care of each other. Protect your energy. Let's get down in the comments. Peace.